As we all know, Google has launched its own version of Claude Code, which is called Antigravity. And the reason why it is in so much hype these days is because it is basically free to use. Anyone can go ahead, download the app, create an account, and they can start building an app right away. And today we're going to be using Antigravity to create a full stack web application. It's not going to be one of those web apps that look good but don't really work in the real world, because we are going to be connecting a real backend, and by the end of this video I will also show you how you can deploy it on the web. So first things first, we're going to download Antigravity. So let's just search for Antigravity Google, and there we go. Let's just go ahead and download it. And while this is being downloaded, the other thing that you will have to download is Node.js. So just search for that and download that as well. All right, now let's set up Node.js quickly. So continue, agree, install, and this is done. All right, so Antigravity has been installed as well, and all you have to do is just log in with your Google account and you will see the screen. Then simply create a folder where all of your code files would be stored, and then open that folder. And yes, just so you know me, my name is Yashica Jain. I'm an AI automation expert. My job is to build AI solutions using low code as well as no code solution. So if you're interested in working with us, you'll find the link to our website in the description. So the code files would be visible here, the code itself would be visible here, and here we will be interacting with our AI model. Now we have to give it the first prompt, which is going to tell us what we are looking to build and what are the features that we would like to have. And for writing the prompt, I'm going to use Claude. So I'm going to tell it what I'd actually like to get built out, and then it's going to help me write the first prompt that I would send to Antigravity. So now here's the idea for the app. I would like to build an app where I will be able to access my favorite LLM models from the same screen. So as a person who uses LLMs a lot, I have to switch tabs between ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and all of these, and even switch models. And sometimes I type the same input to ChatGPT, then paste it over to Claude and then Gemini to get the perfect output. Because Claude is good at some tasks while ChatGPT is good at the other. If I want to search something about the stock market, I would basically ask Perplexity. But if I need help or advice, I would come to Claude. So today, let's create an app that solves this problem. So in plain English, I have told it I would like to build a web app using Antigravity that helps me to access different LLM models from the same chat interface. I should be able to switch the models easily from the top bar. It should be a ChatGPT-like interface with my chat history stored. I'd also like to tag the chats. For example, this chat is for work, or this chat is for my 3 a.m. thoughts. And then also search for them when needed. Now that could be by keywords or based on the tags. And then here's another feature I would love to have. Apart from the different models tabs, I'd also like to have a tab where I can share an input and it uses a smaller, cheaper LLM to find the best LLM for my job. And then it assigns it to that particular LLM in the same chat and gets me an output. This LLM must have context of which model is good at what. So apart from having the different LLM models, I'd also like a place where I don't have to make a decision of which LLM I would like to use. I just give in my input and then it simply chooses the one which best suits my use case. So this is an overall idea of what functionalities I would like to have. Now let's break down the technical part. In order to access these LLMs, we'll have to connect to their API. For example, to access Claude, we have to connect to Anthropic's API. And if I go ahead and create my different API accounts and then manage the billing, etc., then it's going to be a headache for me. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use OpenRouter. So it's basically like you just have to create one API account with OpenRouter, and then you can access all of these different models, maybe ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, and even many more. So I've simply mentioned I'd like to use OpenRouter as the API provider to query these different LLM models APIs. Now, a good thing about using OpenRouter is that in the future, if we have more LLMs, if we have more models, we can easily add it to our app because we're using a unified place. And we can also add like image capabilities and video capabilities moving forward. Now, since I mentioned I would like to store my chat history and I would like to tag it and stuff like that, we need to have a backend. And for that, I'm going to use Supabase. Now, it's up to you whichever backend you would want to use, but I'm going to go with Supabase and I will use its MCP server to connect it to my app. And the other good thing about using Supabase is that in the future, if you want to monetize this app, what you can do is you can easily add the authentication feature, etc. because Supabase is known for that, right? And then you can easily monetize on this by connecting Stripe or something like that. Now, I'm not going to cover that part in this video, but if you want, I can make a part 2 on it. And now I'm ending it by saying, help me write the prompt for commanding anti-gravity. At the end of the prompt, mention that it must first come up with the PRD before starting the development. And let's also mention return the prompt in a code block. The reason why I'm asking it to return it in a code block is because it's just easy to copy paste. Alright, so it seems it gave us a very big prompt and it called our chat application OmniChat, which is okay. So it's talking about the chat interface, the model selection top bar, the smart router tab, the chat history, the tagging system, search functionality. Then comes the technical requirements. And I think in the technical requirements, it's just elaborating a lot. This is not really needed. And I think, anti-gravity can think through it. And this is just too much. Let's say don't elaborate so much on the technical requirements. Anti-gravity should be able to handle it. And by the way, here it has just chosen the models on its own, which is like GPT-4o, 4o mini and stuff, which I would like to change. So let's say model selection. So let's go with GPT 5.2, Opus 4.5 for Claude, then Sonnet 4.5, again Claude. I think Claude should come in the beginning. Or is it at the end? Then I'd like to have Gemini 3 Pro and Gemini 3 Fast. Let's also add GPT 5.1. I feel it feels human. And then comes Perplexity. I don't think I want to go with Mistral, DeepSeek or any of it because I don't really use it that much. But yes, we can add Grok. Alright, so now we have a much cleaner prompt, I think, to get started with. And at the end, it is mentioning that before starting any development, first create a comprehensive product requirements document, which is a PRD, and then present it for review before proceeding, which is perfect. Now in the pages, it is mentioning login and sign up, which I'm going to skip for this video. We can have a part 2 on the same. So let's say skip login sign up functionality for now. Alright, looks good. So let's copy this and let's paste it here. Make sure planning is selected, and for the module, let's go with Gemini 3 Flash. And instead of OmniChat, I'd like to call it UniChat for some reason. Alright, let's hit send. Alright, so it has come up with the tasks. So let's see, research OpenRouter modules and Supabase MCP integration, draft PRD, alright, create database schema, okay, front-end development, and then comes the OpenRouter API integration, verification, and polishing. Alright, looks good. And now as you can see, it has stopped and now it's asking for my confirmation. So I'm going to simply accept it. Alright, so here's the PRD, very quick. So you can read it if you want. I'm just going to skim through. So feature specifications, unified chat interface, model management, okay, smart router. Then we have the history, we have the tagging. Then this is the front end. So for styling, vanilla CSS with modern features, okay. So here's the backend. So basically Supabase's MCP. And then we have the database schema. And finally the API integration. So yeah, everything looks good. Let's proceed. Alright, so it did a little bit of work and it came back by saying, I have completed the development. And this was quite fast, to be honest. I think it has like a basic MVP to show me. And it did ask me to add my OpenRouter API keys to the .env file. So we will do that. And it hasn't really asked me for Supabase MCP access as of now. So let's check the walkthrough artifact. And there we go. So these are the features that have been implemented, it seems. And then these are the things it is using. And as you can see here, it has created a couple of files, which again, it is referring to here. This is the checklist. So now the next steps are that we have to add the OpenRouter API key and Supabase credentials. Okay, so now it is asking for that. And then it's mentioning user authentication, which I'm going to, skip for now. So let's go and fetch our OpenRouter API key. Alright, so this is the one I was talking about, unified interface for LLMs. Now I know it does have this feature of, unified chat, which we're basically building, but I would still like to build it on my own because I would like to add more features moving forward. Anyways, so you have to go to keys and then create API key. Let's call it UniChat. I mean, the goal is not towards what we are building, but to actually show you how you can build any app. And this all looks good. And let's click on create and then copy it. After that, head over to credits and make sure you have credits in there. I am running low on credits, but I'll add more. And then back to Antigravity. Then let's click here. And as you can see here, we can simply add the OpenRouter API key. Now, we're not going to add the Supabase credentials there because we'd like to connect to the MCP and not the API. So simply click on these three dots at the top and then head over to MCP servers. There you will see a couple of these MCP servers that you can connect to. And we are going to go with Supabase. And let's install it. Now it's asking for our Supabase access token, which we will get from our Supabase account. So here's Supabase. If you don't have an account, you can create one. I do, so let's log in. Alright, now you can easily get started with a free account. And let's find our access tokens under account preferences and then access tokens. Let me call it UniChat and it never expires. Copy that and paste. Save. Alright, so it has now been enabled. Let's go back to our agent. So let me tell it that I have added my OpenRouter API keys. For Supabase, I have installed it as an MCP server, and I have added my access token to enable it. Kindly use that instead of using the API approach. And let me also tell it not to build the authentication feature for now. Skip building out the authentication functionality for now. Alright, and make sure instead of planning, you have selected fast, which is basically for building. If needed, you can change the model, but I'm okay with this. And let's send it. Okay, so now it's saying that I do have an existing project, but that has been paused. So it would like to create a new project. So let's say, okay, go ahead. I like it how it didn't ask me to create a project, which is, one of the benefits of using the MCP. Alright, so it's saying that it has been successfully completed and now we can go ahead and test it. And this is the place where we can test it. So if you click on this URL, you will be able to, see what it has created. Alright, so this is how the UI looks like. And then this is Smart Router. This is Gemini 3 Fast, Gemini 3 Pro, okay, 5.2, 5.1, Sonar, and Grok. Here we can create a new chat. And it's saying, how can I help you today? UniChat gives you access to the world's most powerful AI models in one place, which is good. So let's see if I can message 5.2. So let me say hi. Now, if the OpenRouter connection is working fine, it should be able to respond. If not, let's see. Alright, so it showed me an error screen, I think. Let's try Gemini 3 Pro. Okay, so this is the error. So let's take a screenshot of this and let's send it to Antigravity. So when I type a message in the chat, it shows me an error. Please resolve immediately. Now, while it is solving that error, let's talk about the UI. I'm not a big fan of this black and blue combination, but yes, this top bar and this left bar, this all looks good. And see how it has added UniChat can make mistakes, check important info. Alright, so it's saying it has resolved the error. So let's refresh and let's see. Okay, now we have a new error. So let's ask it to resolve. So the goal would be to get the functionality in place once, and then we will go ahead and fix the front end and make it look a little more pleasing to the eye. Alright, it's saying fixed. So let's see. I'm just gonna refresh and let's see. Okay, so at least the message went through. Now the issue is that it didn't really reply, which means OpenRouter connection is not working fine. Again, a screenshot. Alright, so the message went through but no reply. Check the OpenRouter connection and please fix this immediately. So if you have a hint about why it is happening in the first place, you should mention it in the prompt so that it can directly go to that part and fix it. Alright, seems like it has been fixed, so let's try now. And mind you, while it's fixing these errors, sometimes it tries, sending an API request to OpenRouter, and that is when it creates this chat, which is Gemini 2.0 Flash Express free. Alright, so let's say hi. And luckily, we got a response. Now, I'm not sure why it's showing Gemini 2.0 Flash 001 instead of Gemini 3 Fast. So let's try GPT 5.1. Let me just do a new chat. And this time, let's go by hello. Now, again, even with GPT 5.1, it is using GPT 4o Mini. Now, I'm happy about the honesty that it is using GPT 4o Mini, but I would like both of these to match. So let's fix that. Alright, so I've told it, thanks, I'm getting responses now, but there is a mismatch of IDs. When I message GPT 5.1, it is using GPT 4o Mini. So please fix that. This applies to all the models. Now, even if you might think that this is common sense that this applies to all models, you still have to mention it. Otherwise, it would just fix it for GPT and it would leave Claude and Gemini and the other models. Alright, seems like it has been fixed. So let's start a new chat. GPT 5.1. Okay. So now it is saying GPT 5.1, and here also it's saying GPT 5.1, but I'm not quite sure if it's just like taking it from here and putting it here or if it's actually using it. Let me try asking what is your LLM model ID, and let's see if the model knows its ID. I don't have a specific model ID to share. I'm based on OpenAI's language model. Okay, never mind. Let's try Gemini 3 Pro. See, now Gemini 3 Pro is not working clearly. Okay, let's try Gemini 3 first. Okay, it is working. Okay, at least it is a Google trained model. I'm not sure if it's still Gemini 3 fast or not. Let's try Sonnet 4.5. Okay, and yep, this is Claude, and let's try Opus. I'm just like confirming all of these are working or not. Okay, Opus is not working. Okay, so Gemini 3 Pro and Claude Opus 4.5, they're not working clearly. This is working. This one is working. We checked it, and Perplexity is also not working, and I think Grok is also not. Let's see. Okay, 4 of these are not working. We'll go back to this smart router after fixing these. So I've given it feedback and hopefully it resolves that. Let's also try smart router in the meantime. Again, it is also not working. And on the left, it is showing that this is the error, failed to save assistant message. So let's just copy this and let me just, keep it ready. So after this is done, I'm gonna send this. I wish they had a feature for queue. So other platforms like Replit, they have these features. So if you have more feedback, you can just simply send and that would be added to the queue. Once this is done, it would automatically send it, but we don't have it here. I mean, for letting us build an app completely free, this is not bad, right? Like for Claude Code, you'd have to pay. For Cursor, you'd have to pay. So I think it's a good option for people who are starting to learn and starting to vibe code. But yeah, in terms of quality, I think Claude Code is ahead. Okay, so it's saying Antigravity would like to use the browser. All right, let's set that up. Now that is basically going to be for testing. So basically, Antigravity wanted to access OpenRouter so that it can get the correct model IDs. Okay, it needs my input. All right, let's confirm. So it's basically asking me like, can I type this in the browser? Which is funny and good at the same time. But yeah, this is one of the features that makes it stand out as compared to the other ones because, Antigravity has been made by Google and Google also made Chrome. So no doubt this thing is going to work flawlessly. So what it's doing is it's searching OpenRouter for all of these different LLM models and then it is going to that particular LLM model to get the model ID, etc., which is a good thing, right? This feature can be used to get information and it can also be used to test what it has already built out. Alright, seems like it has been fixed again. So let's try it. So the models which were not working were Gemini 3 Pro, which is still not working, surprisingly. Let's try 4.5. 4.5 is working. Okay, what about Perplexity? Okay, this is a bit not usual. Let me ask it what is today's date. Yep, that's correct. I mean, it still has the citations, which we will have to fix. And let's try Grok. Now, the good thing is that in the same chat, you can change models, which is not working, which means Grok and Gemini 3 Pro are not working. Let me just do Smart Router one more time. Okay, surprisingly, Smart Router is working. Okay, and it's saying routed to Gemini 3 fast. This is a basic greeting and does not require complex reasoning or specific expertise. Okay, that's nice. Let's see which model it chooses. Okay, so it has routed to Claude Opus 4.5 because it's needed, like it's well suited for creative tasks, including drafting proposals. Now, I would also personally go with Claude for the same. So I'd be happy to draft. Can you please share the details? Great. So, I mean, we can now remove this error message because obviously Smart Router is working fine. And instead, what we can say is, except for Gemini 3 Pro and Grok, the other models are working along with the smart router functionality. The other thing I'd like to mention is that for Perplexity, please fix the citations and annotations. They look odd in the response. You can just remove them. Okay, so it's saying that everything should be working smoothly now. So let's try. So Gemini 3 Pro, not working. And Grok, not working. They're still not working. Now, you know what? What I'm going to do is to help it, I'm going to just fetch the OpenRouter model IDs for these two models. Let's just search for Gemini 3 Pro. Let me just copy this ID here and let me say, please use these IDs. That's for Gemini. Okay, so we have a couple of options. I'm just going to go with 4.1 fast. Okay. All right. Now it should work once it fixes these IDs. It has updated. I have a feeling that it's going to work now. And let's go with Gemini 3 Pro. So that's good. And let's also try Grok. Okay. Hey, what's up? So yeah, sometimes you just have to help it, work through. Otherwise, you will get stuck in a loop. So just help it as much as you can. Now, we do have to test a couple of things. Firstly, let's just test the smart router one last time to make sure it's working. Let's see which model it chooses. So it has routed again to Claude Opus 4.5 because it thinks it's a creative task. And this is what it came up with. I mean, that's okay, but I don't really like the formatting of this for some reason. This is not resonating with how we usually talk to LLMs. So that's one change. And the other thing is, I'd also like to tell it which model to use in which case so that it does not end up choosing Claude Opus 4.5 each time. The other thing I wanted to test was if the Perplexity, those annotations have been fixed. Alright, so it got rid of the annotations, which is nice. So now we're going to group those two changes together to save on tokens. So I said a few changes, improve the formatting of the responses. And then for the smart router, it is mostly choosing Claude 4.5 Opus. So based on the model's capabilities, expand the knowledge of the smaller LLM, which is basically choosing these models so that it can best choose the model. For example, GPT 5.1 is good at writing emails because it sounds human, whereas Perplexity is good at real-time data fetching. Opus 4.5 is good at advice, creative tasks. Let's send this. Now, while it is doing that change, I'd like to quickly go into Supabase and check if all of these chats are being stored as a part of the history or not. So here I am at projects, and as you can see, it has created another project, which is Unichat. And let me go to the database. All right, so this is basically the schema of our table. Let's check out the tables now. Okay, so we have a couple of rows in the conversations tab. So let's see. Okay, so it is storing the title. It's storing the model ID. In case of smart router, it just mentions that. And then the timestamp. Let's check for messages. Okay, and it is making sure that, the conversation IDs are mentioned for that particular message. So overall, the Supabase MCP connection is working fine. Let's also try searching the conversations. Let's see if this functionality is working or not. So let me say proposal because I asked for that in one of the chats. Then let's search for Apple. All right, let's try this. Okay, I like the light theme. And the other thing I'm wondering is how can I tag these chats? All right, so it's saying it has done those changes. So let's go to the smart router and let's say help me draft a Slack message. Now it should have used ChatGPT 5.1 for this one. So let's see. Okay, yeah, it did. So GPT 5.1. All right, and the subject is like colored and the formatting looks fine. I just don't like these lines. I mean, the lines are fine, but then there needs to be space between the two. You can give it your own inputs as to when it should choose which model. So let's take a screenshot of this and just ask it to add a line break between the horizontal line and the text before and after it. Also, how can I tag my chats? Alright, so spacing improved. Now let's see how we can tag the chats. So look above the messages where a chat is active, you'll see a small add tag button. Okay, yes. So there is an add tag button here. This looks fine and let's add a tag. Let's call it email. Okay, so now email has been added, which is good. But then if I search for email, or wait, let me add another tag. Let's say holidays. Okay. Basically, I want to see if I search by the tags, does it show me? Help me also search the chats using tags. Okay, so that's one of the changes. Now, apart from that, I think we have made good progress on the functionality. Like OpenRouter is working fine, the Smart Router is working fine, the Supabase MCP is working fine. And now it's time to improve the overall UI a little bit. So I think if we improve the font a little bit, that's going to make a major, change to it. I really like the font that Claude uses. Let me add a new chat. Let's say use a font similar to this. Let's take a screenshot of this and let's say UI improvements, and let me ask it to use a similar font like in the image attached for the entire web app. The other thing is this blue color, not a big fan. Now if I change it to like yellow or something like that, then it would closely resonate to Claude. So let's ask it to still use blue, but another shade of blue, okay? Instead of blue, use navy blue for the buttons, etc. so that it looks much more subtle. Let's see what else we can do here. So we have the dates here, we have the model, that's okay. Now for UniChat, let's use another logo. Update UniChat's logo to whatever you feel like. I mean, when I hover over these, it highlights it, which is good. Now, I don't really like this user icon here. Change the user icon to something much better. Now, here's another point you should always mention when you're like making either front-end changes or back-end changes, that while making front-end changes, don't mess up with the backend or the functionalities. Otherwise, what happens is that while editing the code, it might like remove a few things here and there. So it's just good to give it a warning. I really like how it adds this. Now, what you could also do is, if you like someone else's UI, you can take a screenshot of that and you can ask Antigravity to match that. For example, I searched for AI chat interface UI design. And let's visit this website. And here we'll be able to see a couple of options. So let's see this one. I mean, it looks clean, but it's, it has more of a dashboard look, I feel. I mean, yeah, this looks good to me. I mean, we have the chat history. And the other thing is that these curves and all, they make a big difference to how the app looks, even with the buttons. So let's take a screenshot of this. Not the full thing, just this much. And let's ask it to mimic the style of this AI chat interface, especially the buttons, the layout, and the spacing. We'd still like to use navy blue, keep the functionalities in place as they were. Now, before sending it, let me see what changes it made. Alright, so these are the changes it made. This is the navy blue it went with. Not bad. And I feel it changed the font a little bit, and this thing here is changed, this here is changed. Let me just, send this message and then let's see the final UI it comes up with. All right, so based on this, I'm excited to see what it made. Okay, now it has changed it completely for sure. Now, for no reason, it added these icons here, which we can get rid of. Let's see, this is the new chat. These are the saved chats, which again, it just came up with because we never really saved them. Anyways, and then these are the chats we did. I'm not sure what these two buttons are for. Then there's new chat again. Uni chat GPT plus. Okay, we can just have uni chat. And let's send a message here. I can't really see my message here, so we will have to change the color for this. Okay, GPT 5.1. Let's say tell me a joke. And again, these buttons are unnecessary again. And then it has added copy, like, dislike, which is good. The UI has upgraded for sure. The downside is that it just added a few unnecessary elements, which we can get rid of. Not that bad. So let's quickly give it the final changes and let's, get it finalized. Oh, you know what? Why I had these black ones here? That was because I was on the night mode. So if I switch to the day theme, then that goes away and it looks way better. Let's see. Hey? Yeah, okay. So I think we can just get rid of the dark theme for now. And we can get rid of these buttons. Oh, and the buttons at the top were configuration and share. Okay. Then these few buttons are extra again. Alright, so I've given it a lot of work. So get rid of the dark theme, get rid of the extra icons, get rid of the saved section, remove GPT, remove the configuration and share buttons, remove the bottom buttons like the extra ones, make it auto scroll to the latest response like we have in ChatGPT and Claude, like it just auto scrolls. And then make these copy icon and feedback icons work, which are these ones. So let's send it. Okay, so let's review the changes. Okay, looks a bit changed than before. So we've got rid of the extra icons here. This is the chat history. Now again, we don't have the date and the model name, which we'll have to fix. This is clean, okay. Smart router is still like highlighted, which is nice. Now, when I type something, I don't know why this blue box comes in. So let's just flag that. All right, so let me try typing. Okay, this is clean again. And this is again clean. Let me try copying it and let me try pasting it here. That works. Let's see if I can give it a feedback. Okay, great. And if I can rerun it. Great. Now the thing is, when I chat, the top bars disappear because I might want to switch a model in between, but the top bars disappear, which is a red flag. Apart from that, I want to see if it is auto-scrolling or not. So let's say, write me a blog post on AI. Now if it auto-scrolls, then that's good. Let's see. Now this buffering thing is also looking pretty clean. I mean, as compared to what we had before, this is really nice. Okay, it is auto-scrolling. So by auto-scrolling, I meant it should go like this, which it is doing. Okay, now the only thing is it's not showing the bullets in the response, but still the response is looking pretty clean. So let's flag those. When I chat, the top bar for the model selection disappears. In the response, the bullets are missing. All right, let's click on this new chat. Okay, and let's try perplexity. What's the current weather in SF? All right, so yeah, the citations are gone, which is good. And we also have to remove the upgrade to pro button right here. Not looking good. Yeah, I think those are the few changes I would like to make to the UI. Okay, this change was quick. So yeah, we have the dates back, we have the model back, we have the tags back. And I think it is not showing the full model name because it's keeping space for the tags, which is fine, not a deal breaker. And let's see, when I type, I don't have that blue box, great. And when I chat, the top thing doesn't disappear. So let me try changing the model. Okay, I was able to do that, great. And the bullets are there, but then the space is missing. And then we told it to remove the upgrade button, which has been removed. All right. So let me ask it to write a blog post on AI. Let me just confirm about the bullets one more time. And you know what? It's good that it removed that user icon here. It was not looking good anyways. Okay, I mean, here the bullets are fine, which means it's not a UI problem. It's more of something that Anthropic replied with. This is italics. Okay, let's see if we can copy this and paste. All right. One last test with the smart router. As an AI automation expert, tell me about the AI advancements in the last 2 weeks. Give me summaries, focus more on LLMs, new tool features, and workflow automations. Alright, so as you can see, it chose the correct model, which is Perplexity, because again, real-time info, right? Okay, so it's saying that I don't have the data for the last 2 weeks specifically, but I can tell you about the most recent information, like as of early 2026. That's fine. So current LLM landscape, all right. Emerging workflow automation trends, key developments. So let's see, let's ask a follow-up question. Draft an email, or let's say draft a WhatsApp message inviting my friends to a party this weekend. Now let's see if it changes the model or not. And it did. So now it's using GPT 5.1 because that is best suited for the casual conversations like I mentioned. So hey everyone, I'm throwing a party. Okay, cool. Alright, and that is how we created UniChat. Can you believe that we didn't pay Antigravity a penny, right? It didn't charge us anything and it created the whole thing for us. It for sure consumed a lot of tokens, obviously, but it didn't really charge us anything as compared to the other competitors in the market, which would have either said us to pay or they would have said us that you have hit your rate limit and now you can access it like after 6 hours or something. But this one didn't do that, which is again a green flag. So let's summarize it quickly. In terms of UI, if you give it specific instructions like, use this color, use this font, then it is good at it. But if you just make it guess, then it might not do a very good job. So it's just good to take a screenshot of, a UI that you like and share it as a reference. In terms of the backend, it did a pretty good job. In the starting, we got a few errors because of the model ID, but still, it wasn't that bad as compared to my experience with the other ones. Like it took me so less. I would usually spend about 2 to 3 days on something like this, but this one was very quick and it didn't take 10 minutes to, make a small change. Now, most of the tutorials out there on YouTube are going to stop here because, as promised, the full stack application is ready. We have the backend, we have the front end. What else is left? But if you notice closely, this app is currently running on localhost 3001, which is this particular address, which means that only I can access it when my app is running and no one else on the internet can access this particular application. And in most cases, you would want other people to access it. For example, if it's an internal tool for your own business, you would want the team members to access it. If it's a web application that you would like to monetize, you would want your customers to access it. And in order to make it accessible on the internet, we'll have to get a domain and we will have to buy hosting. The domain is the address to which this application is going to point to. For example, www.unichat.ai. For example, just take an example. And hosting would be to host this entire application, host the code files. And it doesn't matter if you're creating a website or a web app, the process remains the same. So now let me show you how you can host it on the internet. So we're going to be using Hostinger's cloud hosting, which is going to make it really easy to take it online. The good news is that it comes with a free domain. You don't have to buy it separately. You just get the cloud hosting and you will get the free domain. We can then get more resources as we need, for example, more compute power, memory, storage, as your application expands. There would be a dedicated IP for improved security, and they provide 24/7 customer support. Now, I've always chosen Hostinger for everything hosting, maybe my own website or my client's internal app, because of the value for money. So you will find the link to this page in the description below. Go ahead, click on this link, and when you scroll down, you will be able to see their different plans. And a cherry on the top is that their New Year's sale is live, which means even better prices. So it's a great time to make your one day into day one. So let's have a look at the plans. So this is the cloud startup, which is like their starting plan, which is optimized for businesses and e-commerce websites. It comes with 10 managed Node.js web apps, 2 CPU cores, 4 GB RAM, 100 GB NVMe storage, and these many nodes, 100 PHP workers, and 100 websites. And the cost, you're saving 68%, which totals to 549 rupees a month. If you compare it with the competitors, you will see the difference. And the other thing is, if you go with their 48-month plan, you will get 2 months for free. You don't have to pay for the hosting. And there's a free domain included for an entire year if you get their 12-month plan or a longer hosting plan. There's unlimited SSL, there are 10 mailboxes per website. Even I use their professional mailbox service. And then there's a 30 days money back guarantee along with 24/7 expert support. So you'll find the link to this page in the description. Click on that link, choose startup here, and then click on choose plan. Then here you can select for how long you'd like to get this hosting for. As I said, if you go with 48 months, you're gonna get a free domain along with 2 extra months of free hosting. Now, the story doesn't stop here. Since you're watching my video, you can use the coupon code Yashica15 to get a flat 15% off on your cart value if you're either going with the 48 months plan or the 24 months plan. And just in case you're going with the 12 months plan, you can use the coupon code Yashica to get a flat 10% off. There we go. Alright, so once this is done, just simply click on continue, complete your purchase, create your account, and now let me show you how you can take it live. Alright, so I hope you have bought the hosting, and now before we host it finally, we'll have to send one final prompt which is going to basically make it Hostinger ready. So I'm going to share this prompt in the description, copy it, and once everything is done, just send it so that it is ready for hosting. Inside Hostinger, just head over to websites, and there you will find Cloud Professional, the plan you got just now. And by the way, my own website has been hosted through Hostinger. So some of you might see the button setup. So in that case, you can complete your onboarding. It's going to ask a couple of questions. And when it asks you to migrate your website or anything like that, just select that I have hired someone to do that. And then if you come back here, you'll see add websites option. Then simply click on Node.js web app. After that, you can select the domain you would like to have for your website and click on next. Now you can either import a Git repository or you can import your project by uploading the files. We're just going to go with this one. Alright, now we can upload our app files. So remember in the beginning we had chosen a folder where all of our code files would be stored. So now what you have to do is you have to just compress that folder so that it becomes a zip file and then simply upload the zip file. So for myself, the files were a total of 170 MB. Alright, it has been uploaded. Let's click on continue. Okay, now we have to review the build settings. So the framework preset is Next.js. The node version, so let's select 20 for this one. And then the root directory is first project, then default for Next.js. And then let's add an environment variable. After that, inside Antigravity, head over to the .env.local file and just copy the OpenRouter API key here. Paste it here, and then here paste the value for your API key. If you have any more environment variables, then you can add it, but in this case, we just have one. And let's click on finish. Alright, everything else looks good, and let's click on deploy. And now our web app is being deployed. So this can take a few minutes, so let's wait. Alright, so we're on the deployments page now. And once the state is completed, all you have to do is head over to your domain. And there we go. On our domain, we have our app. Okay, I hope now you can see the URL. There we go, unichat.me. All our history is preserved because we're using Supabase MCP. And there we have the tabs. Beautiful. And with that, we have easily successfully created our full stack web application using Antigravity, and we have also successfully deployed it on a domain. You'll find the link to Hostinger along with the coupon codes in the description below. Don't forget to use them to get extra discounts. Now, if you'd like to add more functionalities to this, for example, authentication, which is login and sign up, or let's say collecting payments, then that could be a part 2, because if I have it in this one, it's going to become a very long video. So if you do request it in the comments, if many people do, then I will go ahead and create a part 2 of this. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope it was valuable. If it was, don't forget to like the video and do subscribe to the channel. Your comments mean a lot to me, so don't forget to drop a valuable comment. If you're looking to get an AI project developed, you'll find the link to our website in the description below. We help with AI projects, we help with AI and automation setup. So go ahead and check out the link to our website in the description. If you'd like to get on a one-on-one call with me, you can check out the link to my consultation calendar again in the description. And yes, you'll find that last prompt that I used in the description. Don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn as well as X. I will meet you in the next video. Till then, bye.